setting as a left tackle. So that's why I'm continuously rotating them so they get comfortable.
Okay.
Because it's not as easy as you think. I believe it's easier inside than it is outside to fit those guys.
When you see all these injuries and kind of how tough it is to keep you healthy, does that kind of affect how you recruit in terms of numbers and just like, wow, we're going to take 3, we might need to take even more?
Unfortunately, you've got a set ceiling number to where if you take more than that, then some other position is going to be short. So you really can't do that. What you try to do is make sure that the guys you're recruiting are guys that are going to be good players and are going to be with the program. What kills you if you got a kid that comes in and doesn't make grades, or a kid that comes in and quits, or then you get these holes that you can't fill. But that's what you're trying to do. Recruiting's a tough business. Everybody knows that, and so you're trying to find guys that you think are going to fit in North Carolina, can handle the academics, and also be guys that are going to be here for 4 or 5 years. Thanks. You bet.
The silent cadence, that was more for the offensive line than pretty much anybody else, I guess, because Quinshot even said he didn't even hear the cadence usually anyway. How do you think the guys handled it?
Pretty good. We're going to need it at times this year on the road, and we really wanted to take a good week to work on it. There's a lot of nuances to it, with when you're running an offense with motions and the timing of the snap has to be now. There's a lot of things that has to happen there, so we made sure that we worked out those kinks. We went through the game, I'd say probably 95% positive with the whole execution of the operation. And so we'll probably do it a few more times this week and have it ready for this week if we need it on some third downs or some situations. And I know there's a few other games coming up that we're probably going to need it.
How much does it impact the other calls that Lucas has to make?
It impacts him a lot where now he's got to be looking between his legs more than his head up. So the guards have to take on a little more responsibility. But on top of that, the way we build our scheme, we put a little more on our guards and tackles instead of putting it all on our center for those reasons. Especially when you're a fast-paced team, you can't let one guy make every call. It just doesn't work. You've got to share your calls for you to be able to go fast. So that's the big difference from this world and the world where you break a huddle and go up there and you can ID Mike and everybody makes their calls, snap the ball. That's not happening.
That's the old days now.
Yeah.
I guess that's why having experience is so huge, and having a guy like Landon and guard is so huge. These aren't just good players; these are smart kids.
Oh, it's huge. I always feel your old line should be your smartest group. You're right with your quarterbacks. I always tell my guys your GPA should be where your weight is. So most of them are 300 pounds, so they all should be above 3.0s, and we're probably in pretty good shape. And when I'm recruiting guys, that's something that's important to me. He's got to be a smart guy. You want the toughness and the nastiness and everything else, but you're trying to find those guys that can communicate and can think fast.
Back to the silent cadence. Coach Fedora said it was more for the future. It wasn't to fix anything that happened previously. But do you think it was a cleaner game up front for the guys because of it? Do you think maybe that helps? Or is it not a factor at all? It's just one of those things.
It was strictly done for the future, for noise games. It's probably a little easier for the center when he's controlling it because he gets to snap it when he's ready.
Yeah.
Now, to run your offense is tougher. So there's the give and take. And so from that aspect, but it strictly was for, hey, we're going on the road to some environments where we're not going to hear the cadence, and so we have to be able to have this ready. I'd much rather have practiced it for a week and done it in a game and have it ready to go than go into some game that's the first time you've done it.
I think both Mitch and Marquise had a drop snap. Was because it was wet, it was circumstance, or did the cadence situation play into that?
The one to Mitch was a wide snap, so that was on the center. We were going at tempo, and he got a little bit off. And the one with Queese was a good snap, and then when he went to go throw, it just slipped out of his hands.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
How often